Yiyun's book was entered for the O'Connor Award in 2005 and it arrived as a bare typescript. There was no cover letter, there's no biographical note, and I remember the day the shortlist was decided, everybody referred to Yiyun as he and his book. Yes, he does that great, and all the rest of it. And essentially the book was taken completely on its own merits. And when you won the prize afterwards, or even before you won the prize, I was Googling to find out more about you. And I was amused to see that there was this internet controversy brewing around you, because you had managed to place so many stories in so many prominent journals. And people had this kind of idea, this massive conspiracy. You won a Paris Review prize for a new writer, and people just couldn't believe that you could come out of nowhere and win this prize. She must have known the editor beforehand. Oh, she went to the University of Iowa, all the connections you could make in Iowa. There was just this incredible unreadiness to believe that writing can actually find a proper audience and be appreciated for itself without all this networking and business that goes with it. Of course, when you went to the University of Iowa, you had no idea that it was the university that most young writers all over the world are dying to get into.
Right. I went to Iowa to study immunology. Yeah, I wanted to be an immunologist. And when I got there, I think I overheard a conversation saying Iowa City is a writer's town. Everybody is a novelist in this town. Excuse me, and I was very surprised. I thought, oh, that's interesting. I want to be a writer too. I just got the notion that I could become a writer there too, and I just tried. And I think it's very interesting. I think a lot of people spend a lot of energy researching on other writers instead of reading great writers or spending time writing, which is kind of upsetting to me, I think. Yeah, I think people ought to know about me more than I do myself, and which also is very interesting.
There's a book called What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School. Can you tell us a little bit about what they don't teach you in the Writers' Workshop in Iowa?
That's a very good question. One thing I don't think the workshop in Iowa tells you, or they try to protect you from, is how ugly the publishing business is. I think that's one thing the teachers all want to shelter us from. They want us just to spend time reading and writing and becoming great writers. So that's probably one thing that I did not learn from my professors.
And of course, before we finish up, we'll talk about photographs. That touches on that subject a little bit. But I remember when I was a student in UCC and William Trevor came to read there, it was the first time I saw him in person. And he gave a masterful reading, questions from the audience afterwards. And being in university at the time, I was very, very interested in the whole technical aspects of writing, which they seem to go into in great detail in the University of Iowa. And I remember asking Trevor how he planned his stories and novels, and his response was that he never planned his stories and novels. They just started writing, and he thought about his characters, and he went where the story pulled him. And I remember as he gave this answer, my eyes meeting the eyes of my professor at the time, and his eyes widened in disbelief. Of course, neither he nor I was producing brilliant short stories or novels. Maybe that's obviously maybe we were going wrong. But how do you work as a writer now? Do you work with the Trevor method, or do you follow what your teachers in Iowa told you and plan things out?
I probably can't do what Trevor does. I think he does it by intuition, and he's been writing for so long, everything just comes very naturally to him. I think for me, I always start with an interesting situation. There are many interesting situations in life, and they're not stories. This is what I would teach my students now that I'm a professor. I feel that's one thing that actually Ira didn't teach me. I kind of figured out all by myself. I feel that, there are, like for instance, a story I read, actually it just came from a conversation I had with my best friend. And she said, "You can't believe this. I met this woman who actually was a acquaintance of mine, so we both knew the woman. She was going to get married with a man." And my friend said, "Can you believe that she spent half a day not talking about her future husband, but her mother-in-law?" And that's the situation my best friend told me. And I said, because my best friend is also a writer, I said, "Can I use that?" And she said, "Go ahead," she said. And it's because she's also a storyteller. We actually sometimes write the same story, but because our personalities in writing are so different, people would not be able to tell we're writing about the same situation. So I took the situation. I think it's an interesting situation that a woman who is going into a marriage is thinking about her mother-in-law. So I took the situation, I guess, just think the story myself. But I think my story probably always start with the situation. I was leaving San Francisco yesterday, and I saw this chauffeur in like a bodyguard, very nicely pressed black suit and like dark glasses. He looked very severe. He was taking a picture of a man and a woman standing next to his car. And so I stopped. I looked at the man and the woman. My first thought was they were a couple because they were both older. It was an older man and woman. And I was thinking, why would the couple want to take a picture with a Lincoln Town car? So I stopped there. I just looked at them, and I realized they were not a couple. It was a mother and son. But the son looked in his late 60s or early 70s, and the mother was older. And right away there's a situation there, a mother and a son taking, having a very young, unsmiling bodyguard person taking their picture. That's a situation.
And would you write notes, or would you just let it go in your head?
I would take, no, I don't write notes. I would remember that image, and I would then, at some point I would want to make up a story about a mother and son.
Do you never take notes? I mean, do you not have a notebook?
I don't have a notebook. I'm very bad at taking notes. Yeah, so.
And even though that was a situation that existed in San Francisco, when you're going to write a story, it's going to be in China.
And I might just just transplant that story into the Chinese mother and son. Yeah.